Talkshow. In the new stricter community restriction, there's a mandatory work-at-home requirement for all workers in non-essential sectors. To some, it might be hard to focus while working at home, though maybe I should ask Paul, what's your biggest challenge when you have to work from home?
My kids.
Yeah, me
Just,
too.
sometimes he'll just, sometimes we do our, as you know, we have events through Zoom. Sometimes he'll be like, "Hi, Daddy, what are you doing?"
Right.
But it's cool because, you know, what do you expect? We're at home. We are at home.
Yeah, but still, you have to keep it cool.
Yeah, I have to be
You're
like, "I'm
talking to the
sorry."
audience.
But other than that, though, I'm lucky because right before the pandemic started, about a year before, I was able to move into my new house. My previous home, I didn't have a workspace dedicated strictly for me. But with this place, I had a little kind of like a little nook upstairs on the second floor where it's dedicated. I have a work desk. I have my turntables there, so it's kind of like my own little space to work.
That's nice,
so
but is it lovely?
It's got a great view, but it's a little bit small because I have a lot of things. I guess that's just my fault. But yeah, but it's nice to have a dedicated workspace because I can imagine like with these times, a lot of people that are unable to go to the office, one of the biggest challenges would be, do you even have a space where you can kind of separate yourself from the activities at home in order to do your work, right?
That's true, that's true. So a friend of mine, a creative director at Genius Loci, Alex Bayusaputro, will share some tips on creating a comfortable space at home, especially for working.
Awesome.
Hello, Mas Alex.
Morning, Mas Alex.
Hello.
Hi,
Morning.
how are you?
Morning.
Hi. Okay, so first question, how can I make my home cozy for work, Mas Alex?
Well, I guess firstly, tidy up the space is very important.
Tidy up.
I mean, simple space. You don't need to be fancy, but keeping place clean, tidy, organized. That's the first step before you how to beautify it, right? And after that, probably you can pick a brighter color. That will
Brighter
help,
color.
right?
Okay.
Make the ambience smoother, right?
Okay.
On point number one, because I'm not a very neat guy to begin with, because I do have a lot of stuff in my workspace. Now, speaking of space, how important is the amount of space that you have? What if, we know a lot of new homes these days are very efficient with space, so we don't have a lot of space to work with, or is it okay to have a small space as long as you know what to do with it?
Depend on the kind of work that you do, right? Actually, but nowadays we work. Our workspace is getting smaller and smaller.
Right.
I mean, being a designer, architect, we tend to use a very big space in the olden day. Nowadays, we can work with a small space, and with technology, we are actually getting more compact, right? Nowadays, one corner, we already can work with our laptop already.
Right.
Yeah, okay. How about for us, Mas Alex, because we hosted so many online events at home, how can we beautify our background for people to watch our online event?
Well, having a background, well, for you guys, I guess easy. You guys have a green screen, right? So you can do almost anything with it.
No, not at
Always,
home.
yeah.
Not at home.
When we're at home, it gets trickier. When we're at work, we can kind of find different ways to get around that. But yeah, at home, we have to kind of make our background as attractive as possible for the viewers.
I mean, that's the easiest way. Digital background. I think that will make it more attractive.
Digital
and Zoom has that
background.
few package for you also.
Right. Good. Like a beach.
Like a beach, okay, or somewhere in New York.
Now, Mas Alex, how do we make our workspace as nice as possible while working on a kind of like a minimalist budget? Because as we know, a lot of people are not working as much as we used to, so we're trying not to spend a lot of money if possible, but we're trying to beautify our workspace the best way we can.
Oh, okay. Usually, I mean, find a place where you feel is comfortable. I mean, working at home nowadays is actually, as I mentioned before, I prefer something bright, got plenty of sunlight.
Okay.
Decluttering it, keeping things very clean. I mean, you can see the example that messy and organized. You can immediately tell the difference. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it. But keeping things organized and pick a spot where you are comfortable and make that spot your permanent position. So you don't keep jumping around, so you know where it is. That's the first thing you do. Then after
Okay.
that, you can personalize. It's very important to work and personalize your belonging because otherwise you always feel it very temporary. So some
Ah,
office we put photograph, we put personal toy. All those items actually make it ownership to the space, like, which is very
oh,
important
okay.
and emotional. I mean, we are human. Being human being, emotion is very important in our work as well. So when we feel well, we actually do well, right?
Mm,
I
nice.
have actually, going on that last point, actually reminded me of something. Before pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, it was actually advised, unless we really had to, you try not to work at home, because
Yeah.
what happens is if you end up working at home, it's hard to separate
Work,
your home,
life,
yeah,
yeah.
as a space for you to kind of like leave your work behind.
Yeah.
But now we don't have that choice anymore. How does that play into us now mentally? Because now that we have to do work at home, how important is it to keep our workspace separated completely from the rest of the house? Or is it actually okay to integrate it with the rest of the house as long as it's, like you said, tidy and comfortable?
Okay. COVID do change a lot of things. Actually,
Yeah.
change everything that we have.
Yeah.
I'm in the creative industry. Most of our work are interacting with my team, the people around me. We do have a lot of conference before the COVID, but that's limited to overseas and other country communication. But once COVID hit in, the word is actually we have no choice.
Right.
We adapt. Then we start figure out the technology to help us. Zoom is one of them, but we actually found out Zoom are linked with our phone that it actually works as a projector. Yes, I cannot deny emotionally it actually detached compared to last time. People are longing to go back to the original before. But I would say the future of working will not be the same anymore. We will probably do a semi 50-50.
Yeah. I think so.
50% office, 50% home, giving some flexibility on it. So yes, keeping a place at home as a workspace is become a very important. We've been doing on our new work to our client to accommodate and incorporate a new working space in the new home for them.
Yeah, I see.
And I think there's a lot of advantages too. Like,
Yeah.
for example, you're more efficient. You don't have to spend a lot of time
Yeah.
on traffic on the road.
On
I live really
traffic.
far away from the office,
Yeah.
for example, right?
Especially with Jakarta traffic,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And Mas Alex, I want to know on how to increase your productivity at home. Can we actually do something to our workspace to increase our productivity and our concentration to work from home?
Okay, the problem when we start doing online meeting is we lack that communication of the whiteboard. Everything is too digital. But sometimes our hand sketches is the one that we need for our industry. So what we did is actually we link the projector system to the phone, which is Zoom did that, and it become a camera. So you can always sketch and draw your idea and exchange it with the people on the opposite of the camera or the opposite of the Zoom, right? That's actually one way that we try to do that semi digitization, because full digitization is still not happening at the moment. We are still not able to do that 100% because we used to be and material selection, we can see that is still emotional. So using that camera allow us to do a semi communication with our team also by distance.
Okay. Now,
So
go ahead.
on the kind of work that you're doing.
Okay.
But for our industry, touch, feel, see is still what we do at the moment.
Okay. Now, one of the things we talked about earlier was disruptions, because sometimes, sometimes we're just doing work by ourselves on a computer. Disruptions are totally fine. Sometimes I welcome it, in fact. But when you're in the middle of a meeting, or sometimes we're in the middle of an event, you sometimes have disruptions. Somebody coming to the door to deliver a package, or your kids, or whatever. What are some of the tips, or do you have any tips at all to share in regards to minimizing these work from home disruptions?
Well, obviously the best is find your own room if you
Okay.
can, somewhere that you can be private. But depend how you see it. For our side, disruption is quite fun actually. It actually becomes the humor of our life. It makes that meeting more casual and joyful.
Yeah.
And I think everybody accepting it a little bit, keep coming to your room and bug you while you're in the middle big meeting, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I would say, yeah, it's part of the joy of it. But if your job requires full concentration, you do find a room that you can be on a private.
Yeah, it's true. You're absolutely right because most of the time I'm the one that's always panicking, like, oh no, my kid's coming in, but everyone's like, oh,
It's
hey,
okay.
it's okay, no big deal, we understand. Yeah.
Okay, so Mas Alex, we have this room for you. Can you
We're
suggest?
gonna put you to a test here.
Can you put on your suggestion to make it a perfect working space?
So we're gonna give you an example of a room right now that is maybe not quite as conducive, or it's not the best space to have to
plain
work in.
room.
What would you do to this room in order to make it a better workspace? I believe we're going to put it up on the screen now.
Okay. You mean a space that is not conducive and make it unique?
How do we make this a better
How do we make this better?
That room happen to be well, I will avoid probably a red color because it's a bit too stressful.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, stay away from reds.
It's near the window. It's beautiful. Room size is good, right? Putting some personal artwork on the wall will make it cheerful. There's plenty of window there, so I think the setting of the room is nice.
Okay.
It's got nothing. It's not a problem. It's what you do is just the paint color, adding personal artwork, personal belonging to make it homey. I think that's how I'll probably do on this space lah.
Would you suggest maybe perhaps putting the work desk somewhere close to the window? Is that better to have like a nice view? Because I put my work desk right by the window.
I would do that.
Yes, I will do it toward the window. I say a little bit distraction is actually good for the work also.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you see somebody walking outside or a car
Hi.
by.
Put on your
It's a
mask.
more distraction lah. It makes life more interesting, right? Life is not only about work, right?
And I would probably not have this because this would be my distraction. If I'm working and there's a bed nearby, I might want to go to sleep.
Maybe just take a nap for 5 minutes.
So, Mas Alex, what is the trend recently? Obviously, you would be more knowledgeable about this than us. What is the trend that you're seeing more and more of these days when it comes to home workspaces, design-wise?
Well, since the homework are more used by the millennial, actually the modern contemporary are coming in. The very clean, minimizing space is what is being happening now.
Okay.
IKEA kind of form has been more popular to the younger age.
Very suitable for you then, as a millennial.
Yeah, I think so.
Your home is like that. I can see in a little bit of it.
Yeah, a bit, but I still have to work on my workspace because I put my printer just on
your
floor.
legs?
Yeah.
That's where I put my printer too. Out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, Mas Alex, one last thing. How about the lighting? Do you have any tips on maybe the ambience of your work?
Especially if you don't have a lot of natural light. Yeah.
Lighting is very important. I mean, actually one of the important factor in the space. It actually set up your mood. So having a good lux level of lighting is good. I prefer not too warm, but not too cold. So I probably play about 3,000 to 3,005 Kelvin to keep the room bright for working. So because you need some good lighting for reading as well. So I'll stay with something like that temperature, color temperature.
Okay,
Nice.
nice advice.
Especially you would need like one of those big round flat.
Yeah,
You have one?
I have one.
I know you do.
I
Anyway,
have one.
Mas Alex, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate
Thank
some
you,
of the
Mas
tips
Alex.
because obviously a lot of us are going to be seeing a lot more of the inside of our homes, especially with this emergency PPKM coming up. So we hope you stay healthy and safe and continue to enjoy your beautiful workspace there, as we could see. Take care.
Stay safe, Mas Alex. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, how much would you say? How much of the time that would you say that out of your day? Well, let's say you're home for the whole day. You're not coming into the studio to work. How much do you say you need to spend in your workspace?
I think about 2 hours,
Really?
one or 2 hours. How about you?
Is that all in like one session?
One session of Instagram Live is 1 hour,
that's
right?
true, right. See, for me, it depends because if I have something like an event, then it would be around that time. But see, with my workspace, I have my turntables as well, and that's taking up a lot of space. And it's an actual dedicated desk because I need to have, it's, turntables are quite big.
I
So
see.
I have my whole DJ decks there. So I used to have to do live recordings that way as well. So it's
Wow.
taking up a lot of space, but because of that, because it's music is part of my work, I can spend hours and hours there, and I can have my kids come in and it's not a big deal at all because the turntables are quite high.
It's
You
your
can't see
time, me time.
It's my me time, yeah, and I can provide music for the rest of the house too.
Nice, that's nice. Can you work at my house?
I'll give you a live feed for whenever I'm on. But yeah,
Okay.
I think it's important, and I'm lucky enough to have natural light.
Yeah.
So I have a glass panel.
Yeah,
so I'm facing
I
a
saw
glass
your
panel,
workspace.
like completely from top to bottom. But I can
Nice.
imagine I would have those. You see the clip earlier with the color,
Yeah.
the color lights. I really want to install those color lights because I think you can set your mood to that.
I
Because-
think so.
Right?
I
Because
think
if you have
so.
to do it at night, you can make it
Yeah.
a little bit more warm.
Maybe,
In the
maybe.
daytime, you can put like something cool.
Yeah,
really
that's a nice idea. And
Seems like a lot of work though. I might have to hire Mas Alex to
yeah,
help me.
and one thing that I need to do also is to change my background color because my wall is actually not white, so I cannot use the screen from
Oh.
Zoom, right? Because
Okay.
you need
It
to
has to
have
be
the
white.
white. It has to be
Oh,
white,
I wasn't aware of that.
and
Okay.
yeah, that's a
How
problem.
about, and one last thing that we didn't actually ask Mas Alex about. Plants. You're a big plant person now. Do you provide some plants in the background?
No, I provide books because books are dead.
Because books won't die if we don't water them. Exactly. So guys, if you are into plants, obviously you could see in the studio
Yeah, we
as
have
well.
plants, the fake ones.
Yeah, no, I have a real one, and I'm very much working hard to keep it alive. But yeah, it really does make it have a nice touch to it.
Yeah.